The Praetorian Guards are some of the most intimidating fighters in all of Star Wars lore, able to contend with Force sensitives, but there is much about their backstory that is terrifying and hidden. And today, acolytes of the Force and students of the galaxy, we will be opening up yet another holocron and explore the legend of the Praetorian Guards. Before we begin, there will be spoilers for The Mandalorian Chapter 23, so if you have not seen the episode, please go do so before continuing with this holocron. The Praetorian Guards are back. But will they actually carry the reputation that they have meant this time around? Chapter 23 of The Mandalorian has been released, and we are finally getting to see the actual grand plan of the Empire unfold. Moff Gideon has returned, and this time, he is taking precautions for himself concerning the Mandalorians that he lost to previously. Along with naval reinforcements, he requested 3 elite Praetorian Guards to serve him, which we got a glimpse of at the end of the episode. These red-clad guards are meant to be a direct derivative of the Emperor's Royal Guard, who we know are some of the finest warriors that the galaxy has ever seen. In previous holocrons, we had covered the sheer might and skill of the Emperor's Guard, but today we wanted to actually take a look at the Praetorian Guard, what their influence is on the wider galaxy, and why potentially they're some of the best fighters that the Star Wars universe has ever seen. What's unique about the Praetorian Guards is that in current continuity, they do not appear before the rise of the First Order, up until now of course, meaning that they are likely a creation of the First Order and the next generation of the Red Imperial Royal Guard. In the episode, it is the Shadow Council, which is helmed by Grand Admiral Thrawn, which gifts Moff Gideon these Praetorian Guards. In the culmination, Paz Vizsla makes his valiant last stand in the Imperial hangar, using his rotary blaster to cut down trooper upon trooper, before finishing off the squad with his bare hands. Right as he turns to figure a way out, however, the 3 Praetorians march up the stairs to meet him, making their grand reveal. Paz has already accepted his death and pulls out his vibro knife and his personal energy shield. However, he is very quickly dispatched by the Praetorian Guards, who all use their advanced weaponry and combat skills to outmaneuver and put down the Mandalorian once and for all. And this is our first look at the Praetorians outside of the throne room of Supreme Leader Snoke. But again, who exactly are these Praetorian Guards, and how much of a threat do they actually pose? As far as we know, the academy that once trained the Emperor's Royal Guard is no longer in function, but we do know that the Praetorians were trained in much a similar way. Unlike the old Royal Guard, who all mostly had the same standard issue equipment, that being blaster rifles, pistols, vibroblades, and usually force pikes, the Praetorian Guard all possess unique melee weapons that are technologically upgraded versions of primitive martial arts weapons from other worlds. These Praetorians, as seen in the episode, also sport a similar design to the Mandalorian, specifically in their helmet, meaning that perhaps all of these Praetorians are altered former Mandalorians. But why exactly do I say altered? Thanks to the visual guide for The Last Jedi, which gives us our best look at the Praetorians. It is revealed and speculated that the Praetorian Guards did actually have several enhancements, although none of them are confirmed. What is confirmed, however, is that Supreme Leader Snoke decided to alter the armor to keep the Praetorians in a constant state of pain, believing that this state of pain heightened their senses. This constant pain, described as a ringing in the brain and throughout the body, is what kept the Praetorian Guards alert at all times. The weapons they wield include vibro volgs, electro bicentos, electro chain whips, and vibro arbor blades. Unlike their primitive counterparts, these weapons were created with electrofilament running along the edge of their blades in order to make them even more deadly. Also in the description for The Last Jedi, Snoke made it clear that the Praetorians are not ranged warriors, and are hand-to-hand combatants, believing that the Praetorians are the best suited to fight against Force wielders, and therefore specialize in up-close combat. This is one of the major differences between the Praetorians and the Red Royal Guard. The Praetorians were designed for a single use, to kill Force sensitives, but of course, these skills carry over to other beings. The Red Royal Guards, however, were trained in aerial combat as well as in long-range combat, making this one of the stark differences between the two classes. The Praetorians' armor also reflects this line of thinking. The armor was made of plastoid and laminate, which was fitted with conductive wire paths that once powered, created an intense local magnetic field. Once this energy-intensive field is activated, the powered plates could deflect blaster fire and even lightsabers, though a direct thrust of the blade would penetrate the shell. But what of the Praetorians' training? They they were trained in most of the martial arts that the royal guards were, which included Terraskaze, Bukini Hand, Ichani martial arts, and Narkanji, also known as the Blind Alley technique. In Legends continuity, when the Red Guard were concerned, it is known that they could turn the entire tide of a battle and send an entire army running. They had near Jedi-like reflexes, despite many of them not being force sensitives, even to the point where they could deflect blaster bolts with their vibroblades. The marksmanship of the Red Guards were completely off the charts, as one was able to bullseye a TIE fighter pilot through his viewport, while the TIE was actively flying. The Red Guards were so powerful that when all in a group, they even made Darth Vader uneasy. And it's important to note that the Praetorian Guards are the next generation of this Red Guard. The Royal Guard trainees were drilled night and day, constantly fighting against one another, with the best of their class being killed right in front of them by Lord Vader, just to prove that even their best was never good enough when serving the Emperor. Out of an entire class of around 50 Red Guard trainees, only a single one would graduate and join the Emperor's Red Guard. Unlike the Emperor's Guard, of which there were many, there were only ever 8 Praetorians, who all operated in pairs of 2, or in this case, 3. One of our theories is that the Praetorians could be clones of a couple of the original Red Guards that kept their memories, but what is more likely is that they are a new recruitment entirely taken from the best of the warriors on conquered planets of the Empire, or perhaps even former Mandalorians. They were trained specifically to combat lightsaber wielders, as it was said that Snoke always sensed that one day the Praetorians would fight against force wielders that wielded lightsabers themselves. In The Last Jedi, we know of the existence of 8 Praetorians. One of the major theories we have as to why Moff Gideon asked specifically for the 3 Praetorian Guards was his encounter with Luke Skywalker in the previous season. As we stated, the Praetorians are specifically bred to fight force wielders, and it's likely that after encountering Luke Skywalker face to face, Moff Gideon was terrified at the prospects of finding another Jedi. Although Paz Vizsla was injured, he was taken out very quickly by the Praetorians, and it's clear that maybe even the Praetorians outmatched the skill of a Mandalorian, or perhaps were former Mandalorians themselves, altered and changed, turned into something terrifying that will one day be fully utilized by Supreme Leader Snoke. The Praetorian Guards do not live a happy existence. They are in constant torment, and yet they are like wolves hunting their prey, dismantling them systematically, obeying the whims of their masters at any cost. They are the line of succession to some of the greatest warriors that the galaxy has ever seen in the Red Imperial Guard. Warriors whose tales are now legends. But anyway, my friends and acolytes, what are your thoughts on the Praetorian Guard and their official return to a galaxy far, far away? What are your thoughts on their combat prowess, training, and history of the Guard? And as always, my friends, stay tuned on the channel for more breakdowns concerning The Mandalorian Season 3. May the Force be with you always, and hopefully we'll see you soon.